like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's up, fam? I'm Big Q chiming with you for this installment of the Sports Coma Thursday stream. We in effect. Much love to the great Saint Think Tank and the entire Who Dat Nation. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being in the live stream on this one. Please feel free, if you hadn't hit the like button, smack upon the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. And thank you guys for being with me on this Thursday stream. Hope you guys have had a pretty good week as it's rolling quickly to the weekend. And of course, tomorrow, Friday, will be the third and final installment of 2022 preseason matchups. And I am really happy for that, because it's time for some real football and not the preschool variety. All right, shout out to the family. Shout out to our newest family members that hit that subscribe button. Nadsco Carter, Derek J. Williams 007, Chad B, John David Washington, and shout out to those guys. Appreciate you guys for hitting the subscribe button. And much love to the great Saint Think Tank being in the stream. Much love to you. It's 504, Poppy 504, shout out to you. 28-3, shout out. Young City Night Ward, Trav 504, Clint, let's see, Tacoma, big ups to you. Elite, Travis, Brother Doug, Demetrius, BJ, Pelicans, Nola, Tano, Brian, what's up, Brian? Brother Jerry, shout out to you. Coach Tabs in the building as well. Good to see y'all in here as well. Baraka, what's up, fam? St. John Butler, shout out to you, fam. Ghost 187. And all the family members, appreciate you. What's up, Tasha? Shout out to you. Good to see you. Brother Joe Thomas. What's up, Brother Joe? Pammy Whammy's in the stream as well. Shout out to you, Queen. And all the queens, kings of the Coma. Much love. Brother Eric, I see you, fam. Shout out to you. Morgan's in the building. Mr. Who Dat? What's up, fam? Shout out to you. All right, Josh Go 23. Marley Malls in up in this thing. Marty, what's up, Marty? Shout out to you. Brother T. Scott's in this thing. K. Mole in there. Purple Knight, what's up, fam? Brother Steve Smith, what's happening, fam? Shout out to you as well. And appreciate all you guys for being in the stream. Much love to the fam. What's up, Rick's Raw in the building. Nancy, good to see you, Nancy. Shout out to you as well. Cool Money, I see you, fam. Shout out to you. Good to see you as well. So big ups to the fam for being in this one. In this one, fam, we're going to pretty much kind of just go over a preview. I'm going to try not to hold you. What's up, Debbie? Shout out to you, Queen. Good to see you. But try not to hold you guys too long on this stream. It's not going to be a long stream tonight, because I know tomorrow we'll have a 3-hour stream with the game. We'll be doing the watch party tomorrow. Tomorrow is the preseason watch party. What's up, CeeLo? Shout out to you, fam. Tomorrow is the watch party. So that'll be the final preseason game. So I hope you guys enjoy me. Come on and enjoy me for that stream. Get your drink on and your food, whatever you got, and turn on the Sports Coma and turn down whatever the hell they talking about. We're going to have some fun. All right, what's up, Trey? Shout out to Trey Joseph, man. Much love to you, my brother. Appreciate you being up in this thing as well. So in this stream, fam, we're going to go over the Saints and Chargers preview. We're going to go over that stuff and predictions of the game. We're going to talk about Saints starters who could see action against the Chargers. Shout out to Bob Rose. We got 2 of his articles today, and also his prediction of the roster predictions for him as well. And we'll get, like I said, it won't be a long stream today, so we'll just pop right on in there and get it going, baby. Shout out. What's up, Sydney? Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you being up in here as well. Here we go. All right, we're going to start off, fam. Chargers and Saints preview right here, and this is coming straight from the New Orleans Enola.com, which is the Times Picayune site. Shout out to Zach Ewing, who broke this down and broke it down. Saints have started the preseason with consecutive road losses in Houston and Green Bay, but both Saints starters taking very few snaps, and of course to return to the Caesars Superdome for the final preseason game before the regular season comes into play. And this one, the Saints are expected to play more regulars, perhaps even starting quarterback Jameis for the first time since he was injured his knee last October. And that's what they're saying. I don't know if that's true or not. And I most certainly hope that we don't see Jameis in action, you know, and they might sneak him in there for a series or 2, you see. So I don't know. We'll see, but hopefully not. I don't want to see him in there unless he's totally healthy, you know. And of course, anyway, and while you're watching the kickoff, check out and they look at the previews and the odds and all that kind of stuff as well. But this is some viewing information. A Saints Chargers 7 p.m. Friday, where you can look at here down in my area in New Orleans is Fox 8, Baton Rouge, WAFB, and in Lafayette, KATC. You see the spread there for the Saints. And, of course, you look at the trends here. You see the Saints are 0-4 against the spread in the past 2 preseasons, although a couple have been close. Jacksonville last year. Saints dominated the first half before the bottom of the depth chart lost to cover late. This year, the Saints were 25 seconds away from covering against the Texans. But, of course, you know what happened in that game. Now, of course, both the Saints preseason games have totaled 30 points, making them both easy unders. And that's one of 3 teams, including the Bears and the KC Chiefs. The Saints are 7-15 straight up and 6-16 against the spread in preseason since 2015. Dennis Allen's preseason mark as a head coach is 4-10, dealing with that same indication. Chargers have been favored in both preseason contests, but lost both 29-22 in a defeat to the crosstown rivals, the Rams, and of course, you know, 32-18 to the Cowboys. And there you go. So what to watch for? Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert has been a breakout star in the NFL the past couple of years, but hasn't played a single preseason game since his rookie year. The trend figures to continue Friday night when LA will use a combination of Chase Daniels, remember that guy, and Easton Stick at quarterback. Same goes for most of the Chargers' other starters, like the star running back Austin Eckler. And what's more is backup running back Isaiah Spiller, who has turned some heads as a rookie this preseason, is out with an injury, so the Chargers may treat Friday night as a place to stage a battle for their last few playoff spots instead of any kind of regular season warm-up. Now, last season, Brandon Staley's first as the Chargers coach. LA went 1-2 in the preseason, with the only win was a 3-6 snooze fest. They clearly didn't worry about working out offensive kinks in the setting. Alternatively, if the Saints were planning on using any of its starters in the preseason, this was always the game they were going to do it at home after most of the preseason camp is finished, but still with more than 2 weeks until the regular season opener in Atlanta. Even if Winston and others like AK-41 can't guard Mike and Cam Jordan doesn't play much, figure second stringers like Andy Dalton will get more run than they did in Green Bay. Now, the pick 2 weeks ago, the Saints started hot against Houston, and that's the only extended period of preseason play in which the top half of the Saints roster was on the field. Dennis Allen and his staff haven't said anything official, but it seems like the Saints will play more of those guys for a bit longer in this contest. Combine that with the fact that Staley doesn't seem to care about the preseason at all this one should be comfortable cover for the Saints. Prediction, 24-13 black and gold. Getting the first preseason win of the year, according to the writers. So there you go, information and some spread information on them as well. Now let's move on into the next one right here. This is one of Bob's work. First is the Saints starters could see action against Chargers. Some of the top New Orleans Saints players may play against the Chargers as the team closes out the preseason, if only briefly. Here are perhaps the most important starters to see in action. And here we go. The Saints close out the preseason by hosting the Chargers on Friday evening. The starters have played very little this preseason, but may have changed, but that may change against the Chargers. Now, Coach Dennis Allen has been a little coy about the topic, but there is some indication that the Saints will play some of their top players on Friday, if only for a series or two. Those won't include Michael Thomas, lineman Ryan Ramczyk, or James Hurst, linebacker Pete Werner, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. These players have been nursing injuries that have kept them out of practice, but all indications point to them being ready for the September 11 opener at Atlanta. Here are some of the top New Orleans players who may see some action against the Chargers, have had fans clamoring to see them on the field. Jameis Winston, at the top of the list, suffered a foot injury during the week leading up to the preseason opener against Houston, was unlikely to play in the game anyway, but was held out of practice in joint scrimmages against Green Bay for a span of 2 weeks as a precaution. Winston, who missed the last 10 games of the 21 season with a knee injury, returned to padded practices this week, seems fully recovered, and has been pretty sharp throughout the camp. After throwing 14 touchdowns against 3 interceptions, but averaging just 185 yards per game last season, Winston looks to spark and improve New Orleans' attack. Now, the 28-year-old Winston was given plenty of weapons this offseason. Thomas returns from season-ending ankle surgery and joins new additions Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave in the receiving corps. The dynamic running back Alvin Kamara is also back, along with an offensive line that was battered with injuries last season. Winston has had an opportunity to form some chemistry with his new receivers during training camp, but has yet to show it in game simulation. Even if only for a few drives, an appearance from Winston, some of his top targets, might ease fans who have been needlessly worried about his recovery. So that's the thinking there by Brother Bob. And what's intriguing and interesting is that he makes a good point about Jameis missing that time and sitting down there. So it'll be really intriguing to see if the Saints actually bust on that move and play Jameis for a few series to kind of get a little warm-up action prior to the Atlanta game. So we'll just see how it shakes. The next person on the list, Jarvis Landry. Signed after the draft, Landry brings a resume of a 5-time Pro Bowler, 6 years of at least 800 yards receiving to New Orleans. He's been sharp in the camp, making several spectacular catches and showing off his route running skills, but did not appear in either preseason matchup. Landry, 29, is coming off his least productive season of his 8-year career. He missed 4 games in 21 with the Browns, catching 52 passes for 572 yards. We can contribute many of his struggles to Cleveland's pedestrian offense. And that 52 catches that he had last year was more than any Saint wide receiver. That was an off year, and he still would have been your leader if he was on this team. A second-round pick out of LSU in 2014's NFL draft, Landry's spot on the depth chart is secure. Thomas, Landry, and Olave will be the top 3 wide receivers for a passing attack that ranked dead last in 21. Even though it's not necessary, Saints family members might want to see some of that explosive potential before the regular season opener. Tyrann Mathieu next on the list, another publicized addition from LSU this offseason. Mathieu joins Landry in returning home to New Orleans. The 30-year-old Mathieu is a 4-time Pro Bowler, including each of the last 3 years. He's a dynamic playmaker that has 26 interceptions, 10 fumbles forced and recovered, 10 sacks, 74 passes broken up, and 41 tackles for loss over a 9-year NFL career. How about that? He done a lot in the league. Both him and Jarvis Landry have been absolute studs in the NFL. Shout out to you, Tasha. Thank you for your super chat, Queen. She says, hey, family, it's my Kings. Okay, big shout out to my dog, Big Sean's birthday. He said, please help me wishing him a happy birthday. Happy who that birthday to our brother and great Saint Think Tank family member, Big Sean. Much love to my brother, and shout out to my girl Tasha. Appreciate them for all the stuff that they do, all the support. Much love to you guys, and happy who that birthday to my dog, Big Sean. Shout out to you, Sean. Much love, brother. Happy birthday to you, bro. All right, and then of course Mathieu was excused from early portion of training camp to deal with personal matters. Upon his return, he had a quiet but solid camp. He's still considered among the league's best defensive backs, but gave up nearly 70% completion rate when targeted with the Chiefs last year. Now, Matthew and Marcus May, another offseason addition at safety. They'll be replacing last year's starters of Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins. Their upgrades to Williams and Jenkins in athleticism and versatility. I absolutely agree with you on that. Jenkins is on the back end of his playing career. Even though he had the intelligence, his athleticism was fleeting. And Williams just was a guy that the Saints gave extended time to see if he was that guy they wanted to invest in. And ultimately, they decided to let him walk to Baltimore. And they feel like Marcus May, who originally, when they were looking at both these guys in the draft, they were looking at Marcus May to draft him. But, you know, such and such Jets got him. And then the Saints then picked up Marcus Williams out of Utah. So how that made, the Saints were able to get who they really wanted, which is Marcus May here, to team him with Matthew. So Eminem, them dudes are going to be special back there. All right, so y'all agree with them. That's definitely an upgrade. However, replacing both safeties can sometimes lead to miscommunication in the secondary early in the year. We saw some evidence exactly of those concerns during 2 days of scrimmage against the Packers. Yeah, they had to work it out. Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu could be key parts of a New Orleans secondary that might be the best in team history. Valuable reps are needed for this group to come together as quickly as possible. So what's intriguing and interesting all at the same time is the fact that this, on paper, the New Orleans Saints secondary, this could be the best secondary that we've ever seen in the Who Dat building. And that's saying a lot. But, you know, we've yet to realize that on the field. But on paper, man, you can only dream, man. First team defensive line. Saints have struggled against the run this preseason. Rookie running backs Damian Pierce had several strong runs against them 2 weeks ago. Green Bay gashed them with 178 yards on the ground last weekend. This was against mostly second and third string players, the back of the backups, as I call them, which raises some concerns about the depth up front. There should be no worries about the Saints' top unit, even with linebacker Pete Werner dealing with a groin injury. Demario Davis in the defensive line will be a formidable squad. It may benefit the defense to get the timing of a few series in the game before they open the year against the Falcons. Now, other than potential communication issues in the secondary, whatever starters don't play shouldn't be an issue. It's more important that the Saints rest players who are nursing injuries come out against the Chargers game healthy. Whatever starting players do see the field, it should be, as noted, nothing more than a dress rehearsal for the 2022 regular season. Amen, brother Bob Rose. So that's the players right there that we could see action against the Chargers. Once again, Jameis Winston, Jarvis Landry, Tyrann Mathieu, and the first team defensive line for the Saints D. So there you go. Then let's move on to the final article right here. Is this Bob Rose's prediction? 53-man roster prediction. This is fourth attempt. With one preseason game to go before the big cuts on August the 30th. Here's the 53 projection. For the Saints, 2 preseason games in the books. One last coming with the Saints hosting the Chargers this Friday. New Orleans opens the regular season on September 11 with a road trip to face their bitter rival, the Atlanta Falcons. The final cut down to 53-man roster is August the 30th, 4 days after New Orleans plays the Chargers. There will be plenty of roster shuffling between then and the regular season opener. Here is his attempt, or latest edition of the 53-man roster prediction for the Saints. All right, taking a look at the quarterbacks, Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton. You got 2 of them. So, of course, we know Ian Book obviously doesn't make the roster, and he more than likely ends up on the practice squad. Second-year quarterback Ian Book has simply not done enough to earn a spot on the active roster. I believe he'll be on the outside looking in as Coach Dennis Allen uses the opportunity to fill a roster spot at another position, perhaps a wide receiver. Don't be surprised at all if Book is re-signed to the practice squad after starting 4 different quarterbacks in 21. They will want another arm on the practice squad with some experience in their system. Dalton is a massive upgrade over last year's backup Trevor Siemian. The 34-year-old still has an ability to dissect defense if given protection and can still drive the ball down the field. He also is a veteran, has a veterinarian and a stabilizing sideline presence for Jameis Winston, somebody Winston can bounce ideas off. Winston's foot injury 2 weeks ago created huge concern, but there's every reason to believe that the team has held out of preseason games as only as a precaution. The strong arm Watson and 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions last year in a limited offense before going down with a knee injury. With another year in the system and surrounded by better weapons, he could put up the best numbers of his career. You best to believe it. Running backs, Bob says 5 of them. Name them: Kamara, Ingram, Tony Jones Jr., Abram Smith, and Adam Prentice. Okay, he doesn't. He said player to watch is Dwayne Washington. All right, it appears as Kamara may avoid a suspension during the 2022 season for the offseason arrest in Las Vegas. A collective sigh of relief was let out by the Saints family members. The 27-year-old Kamara is one of the league's most dangerous and versatile playmakers. He continues to be the focus of the offense. Had a fantastic preseason and training camp. The off-season challenge for New Orleans was finding a backfield complement to Kamara. The 12-year veteran Ingram was brought back in the early season trade last year, but dealt with knee injury down the stretch before getting hurt. He showed that he could still be effective between the tackles, and there's still some question of whether the 32-year-old Ingram could assume a heavy workload if needed to. Now, what about the depth? Depth was an off-season battle between former undrafted players Tony Jones Jr., rookie running back Abram Smith, Devani Zigbo, and special teams ace Washington. All 4 have had monster moments in camp, but Jones and Smith have been the most consistent. The third-year Jones also played well on special teams, something that could push the limited Washington off the roster. So he thinking like I was thinking about Dwayne Washington, only being a special teams person. He doesn't help you in a running back room. They don't use him like that. The Saints ran him like that first game against the starters, and you haven't seen him. So you take it what you will with that. But look for some shuffling at this spot through the early start of the year. It also is possible that an extra tight end or back like Washington is kept over a fullback. How about that? Prentice has been impressive in that role. The tight end could be used as an extra blocker in the backfield, and Pete Carmichael doesn't use a fullback as often as Sean Payton did. So that's a good point by Bob, which is why, and you can see how the great Saint think tank minds kind of think alike. You look at, and when he was talking about the fullback, and I make an onus to talk about the fullback, because J.P. Holtz was the only competition to our other fullback, which is Adam Prentice. Prentice is a traditional north-south, like he's a traditional fullback. Now, we've seen in the preseason the Saints employ the use of the power Y formation. Will that carry on into the regular season? I do like the power Y a lot, but I know that Dennis Allen was saying that he wants to run the ball, have a powerful rushing attack. Abram Smith does fit that brutal style of running that he spoke about. Dwayne Washington, we simply don't see enough of him in that regard. But in terms of the fullback, having a guy like a J.P. Holtz who can play the H-back for you, could be a fullback, H-back, and then play a tight end for you, that has value. And then a guy plays special teams. That has value for somebody like a fullback. You want to see that guy do several different things. And I don't know if, and that's a good point about the fullback in Adam Prentice. So that was, like we said, that was a guy that Coach Payton wanted. Remember, we had Adam Armah, who was a guy last year, the previous year, that came from the Carolina Panthers, who was a guy that had the versatility that you was looking for. He was a guy that could play fullback. He was a guy that you can line up as a tight end. I remember when Carolina had Armah lining up in the slot. So I mean, he was a versatile player, and I think Coach Payton just was impatient in his usage and kind of just went away and just decided to go back to that regular style fullback. But we should have had some more patience with Adam Armah. I think that would have been something to look out for. So like I've been saying about J.P. Holtz, that could be a switch up in that room. So that's a great point by Bob Rose, saying that, it might use an extra guy as opposed to using a fullback in that role. So we'll see. J.P. Holtz might be that guy. Moving on to the tight end. He got 3 of them: Troutman, Hill, and Johnson. Players to watch: Lucas Krull, Chris Herndon was released, and J.P. Holtz is there. So anyway, Troutman has had the best camp of the 3 in his 3-year career. It remains to be seen whether that carries over into the next year. The entire position group was one of the worst in 21. Don't expect big production out of Troutman over the rest of the union, but he desperately needs to improve over last season. I think he'll have his best year. He stays healthy. I think Troutman has his best year since he's been here. And like I've said, I think he'll get, I think he can, if he stays healthy and he's there for Jameis, because, the Jameis likes his tight ends too. But if he is there, and like a lot of those offensive weapons we talked about, Mike and Chris Olave, and Jarvis Landry, Elvin Kamara, Mike and Taysom Hill, guys like that, weapons, playmakers, Troutman is a guy that could be wide open a lot. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at all those guys, sometimes the defense will be looking to kind of leave Troutman alone. So he might get an opportunity to make a lot of easy catches and really gain a benefit from working with all those talented wide receivers. And by that fact, if he stays healthy and is available and catches the ball like he's been doing in preseason and training camp, he can perform and he can have a really good solid year. He can have north of 45 catches this year if he's there. So they'll give him an opportunity there. And there's excitement over the athletic Taysom Hill's conversion to the tight end position. He'll be used to create mismatches. Expect Hill to be used much in the same way he was used during the first few years as a versatile mismatch out of the backfield around the formation. I expect that we'll rarely see him line up as a traditional inline tight end. There you go. And Juwan Johnson added bulk and is the best pure receiver of the group. Vanette could be retained because of his experience, but he's added little to the training camp after a disappointing 21 season. Now, Lucas Krull, an undrafted rookie, Herndon, or blocking specialist Holtz could stick on the roster over fullback Prentice, but seems more destined for the practice squad. So there you go. Is he throwing that? You're looking at the value of a fullback and what could he bring to the team as opposed to a traditional fullback. You need somebody that can do multiple things at the position. So we'll see if the Saints see what we're seeing here shortly. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers. He got 6 wide receivers. You already know the top 3. Thomas, Olave, and Landry. The bottom 3, Deontay Harty, Marquez Callaway, and Kirk Merritt. Players to watch: John Dixon, Kevin White's on the IR, and Traquan Smith is going to end up on the cut squad. That's what you're going to. Quan Baker is more than likely, and John Dixon and Quan Baker could very well end up on the practice squad. Hell, Traquan Smith too. The return of Thomas and offseason additions of Landry, first-round pick Chris Olave, could make this a dominant passing attack after finishing dead last in 21. Hardy is almost sure to grab a 4th spot because of the explosive return skills and underrated route running ability. After that, it gets a little cloudy. Third-year wide receiver Marquez Callaway led the Saints in receiving yards last year in the absence of Mike Thomas. However, it was the fewest yards for a team leader since 1986. Callaway may not be a featured target, but has the skills to be an effective complementary weapon. His ability to play special teams should give him the edge over the perpetually disappointing Traquan Smith. Rarely do the Saints keep 6 wideouts. Given the depth at the position, it seems more likely this year. However, it would almost certainly be a developmental player who can play special teams. Merritt appears to have a slight edge over undrafted rookie Dixon, but both players have had strong camps. And I see what you're doing there, and definitely agree with Bob Rose, because we've said this all the time on the Coma about Kirk Merritt, is the fact of how the Saints are going to employ and use a guy like Kirk Merritt. You know, they've already practiced in using him as a running back. They know he can play the wide receiver position, and he's also a kick return guy. So he gives you multiplicity there, more so than a Dixon. So we know he's going to be the pick. And also, like when we talk about the running back position, DeJuan Dixon is going to have a say in that position. You might see him line up with an Elvin Kamara out the backfield when they split and running backs out the backfield and stuff like that. And remember, Kirk Merritt's a guy who loves to block, so he can block if you need him to block in there. He's a guy that can catch the ball. He's very quick. He runs actually pretty decent routes, and he has speed to take it to the house. So the guy is a weapon, man. And when you have guys like Kirk Merritt, guys like Deontay Harty, guys like Taysom Hill, these weapon type of guys that are playmakers who you can move them around in a multitude of different ways. They can fit in different rooms, slide and glide in different rooms just like that because of their special skill sets. So it'll be fun watching where the Saints employ Kirk Merritt, Taysom Hill, and guys like what's the other guy I just spoke about? Let me see, Taysom, Kirk Merritt, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Offensive linemen, we got 9 of them here. We got 9, and that's a good call. Ryan Ramczyk, Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, Andrews Peak, James Hurst, Trevor Penning, Kelvin Throckmorton, Landon Young, and Bob has Lewis Kidd. No kidding. Yes, Lewis Kidd on here at the position. So players to watch: Derek Kelly, who didn't look that good. Josh Andrews doesn't look good. Nick Martin doesn't look good. I would say Nick Martin over Lewis Kidd because he's a veteran center and they don't have really a good backup center there. So he kind of struggled in preseason action. But do the Saints look past that and say, well, we need a veteran center that can help us out right here? Does Nick Martin make it? I think Nick Martin makes it over Kidd, but let's see what Bob says. The starting 5 offensive linemen played together for a mere 22 snaps last season because of injury. Even with the offseason loss of Teron Armstead in free agency, we should see this unit bounce back in a big way. Hurts looks like he'll hold off rookie first-round pick Penning for the left tackle job there as well. So Hurts looks like he'll hold off the rookie for the tackle spot job to start the year. Ruiz is entering his 3rd season, has had a solid camp after a disappointing start to his career, so credit to him. Hurts and depth or health and depth are concerns for this group. If the often injured Pete goes down again, will the Saints use Throckmorton or slide Hurts inside and promote Penning? I think they should do the second, because Throckmorton, man, he didn't. No. I think Hurts will probably be the best bet to do that, and Penning slides where he belongs. Now, the other 2nd and 3rd teamers have struggled throughout training camp. They really have. The backup offensive line was terrible. Young has had some nice moments as Kidd as an undrafted rookie. However, Kelly and Andrews add a bit more versatility. If they kept around, this is a position that we'll see a lot of shuffling at the back half of the depth chart after initial cuts through the first part of the week, and they can very well look into free agency. After the cuts are made, the final cuts are made, the Saints could very well peer into it and see who they would like to add on to the team. You know, perhaps they pick a guy up off the waiver wire, claim a guy, and bring him in here like they do every year for the backup offensive lineman. We'll see. Defensive ends, 5 of them. Bob has them: Cam, Davenport, Granderson, Turner, and Passanio. Player to watch is Taco Charlton, who was able to stick around for the final parts of the camp, and people anticipating, but he'll probably be one of the final camp cuts, depending on the health of other people. Taco Charlton, a former first-round pick, simply hasn't shown enough to crack one of the deepest edge rotations in the league. Jordan is still playing at a Pro Bowl level as he enters his 12th year. Davenport, when healthy, can be an unblockable force. Passanio was one of the team's best defensive players through the first half of last year. Granderson's an underrated defender with good explosiveness. Turner, the 2021 first-rounder, looks to bounce back after an injury-marred rookie year. Turner, Passanio, Davenport, and even Jordan were used inside in some passing situations last year. The strategy was successful and something that we should see more of in 2022. So I guess Cam kind of shucked that little mindset of I don't want to stunt. Now, when you stunt, you have success, so keep on stunting. All right, defensive tackles, he got 4. David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle, Contavious Street, and Malcolm Roach. Players to watch: Jordan Jackson and Elbert Huggins are the ones that he has on the watch. This position didn't provide the disruption that was expected last year. The 2nd and 3rd teamers have also struggled against the run this preseason. Expect a bounce-back campaign from Onyemata, who served a 6-game suspension and had a down year. Street was signed away from the Niners to provide additional interior pass rush. Tuttle is an outstanding run defender who won't add much as a pass rusher. Roach has had an outstanding preseason, which might be enough to hold off the big-bodied Huggins and the rookie 6th-round pick Jackson. So there you go. An athletic project in the mold of Onyemata is possible that the Saints might keep Jackson to avoid him from being claimed off of waivers, because, you know, that's possible. The versatility of the New Orleans defensive end allowed for some position flexibility up front, because Passanio could be slid inside, and Roach could play outside if you need him to. So the Saints do have guys, and a lot of those guys, defensively speaking, that can move around and make plays all over the line. The linebackers, 6 of them. That's right, 6 of them. 6 linebackers. And this was something that schoolbacks me. I said 5. But Bob says 6. Demario Davis, Pete Werner, Eric Wilson, John Bostic, Caden Ellis, and Chase Hansen. The only one that doesn't make it is Andrew Dowell, which is a tough group because the Saints keep Eric Wilson had a fantastic camp in the absence of Pete Werner with the injury. John Bostic has been solid in his time here, and you want to have that veteran linebacker there to kind of solidify the group. Caden Ellis has played well, and Chase Hansen was making plays when he was out there doing his thing. But, you know, health is another thing with Chase Hansen. Demario Davis is one of the NFL's best defensive players at any position. A groin injury has sidelined Werner most of the preseason and raises concerns for a unit already facing depth questions. Ellis is a reliable early down fender, but is a liability in coverage. Amen to that. Wilson is an offseason free agent addition, has been outstanding in coverage throughout camp. Bostic signed last week as a proven starter, effective against the run and in coverage. They also likely pushed the disappointing Zach Bowen off the roster and made undrafted rookie Nephi Sewell a practice squad candidate, and we should practice squad him. Sewell has potential. Hansen has been extremely well since being brought back to the team 2 weeks ago. He probably has a slight edge over Dowell, but this could be a battle decided in the final preseason game. Yeah, if Hansen is 6 linebackers, that sounds good to me. I like that. If Hansen is healthy, then he should make it. And Dowell played. We like Andrew Dowell, but man, Bostic and Eric, it's just that year where the linebacker group is really, really talented. So Dowell can end up on the practice squad if not claimed. Cornerbacks, 4 cornerbacks that they're keeping: Laddie Daddy, Adebo, Bradley Roby, and Alontae Taylor. All right. And it says this is a shutdown unit capable of facing off against the league's deepest receiving cores. Lattimore, one of the NFL's top corners, typically shadows an opponent's top wideout and often shuts them down. Adebo flashed signs of a Pro Bowler as a rookie and looks even better as he enters his second year. Roby is a seasonal starter who could still be a top corner for many teams. This is true. Taylor, a rookie second-round pick, is an athletic and physical coverage addition. Remember that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is perhaps the league's best slot cover corner. Safety Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, P.J. Williams can also take slot coverage responsibilities. With that type of versatility at safety, the Saints won't need to reach a 5th corner from a backup unit that has performed poorly this preseason. Safety position, 6 of them: Marcus May, Tyrann Mathieu, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, P.J. Williams, Justin Gray, J.T. Gray. Daniel Salterson didn't do enough. He's the man outside looking in. The only concern about this secondary group is possibly early season communication issues that could lead to coverage breakdowns, and Bob is really focused on that, and we have to keep an eye out on that. May and Matthew are replacing both last year's starters, Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins. However, there are upgrades in both versatility and athleticism. Gardner-Johnson's a playmaking chess piece for the defense and is valuable everywhere, all over the field. Williams is a covered corner who brings versatility and ball hawking mentality. Gray doesn't add much defensively, but is perhaps the league's best special teams player. That should be enough to hold off Sorensen, who is a seasoned veteran but a massive liability in coverage. May could be facing a league suspension for the DUI arrest in 2020. If that happens, Evans could emerge as the key contributor. I agree with that. A second-round choice in 2017, Evans hasn't played since 2019 because of the Achilles injuries. He has been sharp throughout camp and appears to have regained his outstanding range he had before the injury. He is such a diamond in the rough for the Saints to have a guy like that. And Tampa Bay just lost faith in the guy because he got hurt. He stayed away from football, came back. The Saints got a real steal with this guy, and they really didn't pay him too much. And, of course, the specialist, Will Lutz. Glad to have him back. Blake Gillikin and Zach Wood are terrific. After missing the entire 21 season following surgery, Lutz erased all concerns about his recovery by drilling a 59-yard field goal against the Packers. His range and accuracy all but guarantees his team's points from just across the midfield. Gillikin has quickly developed into an outstanding punter capable of flipping field position. He has a booming leg and uncanny precision to pin opponents deep in their own territory. Wood is one of the league's most reliable snappers, and Deontay Hardy is among the NFL's most feared returners. Many of the Saints' personnel decisions at the back half of their roster will be influenced by their special teams units, which annually among the league's best. So there you go. That's Bob's calls on it, the 53-man roster there. My only thing is, like, when you talk about one of the kick returners, does Rashid Shaheed pair into the group? Now, we know Kirk Merritt is a guy that really stepped up and handled the business and has done a lot of positive things in camp, and Rashid Shaheed got there late, and the Saints have been using him, and I've been watching him get his reps to kind of get his stuff going. So we should see Rashid Shaheed a lot in this thing too. But do the Saints release him release him onto waivers? I'm pretty sure if you do that, somebody's going to claim him, but such is the thing. So let's have a quick recap, shall we, of what we covered thus far. We talked about the Saints and Chargers preseason matchup, what it'll look like. We even covered some of the starters that could see action against the Chargers for the final preseason game as we get ready for the Falcons coming up in week 1 of the preseason. And of course, the 53-man prediction of 4.0 by Bob Rose. So just to let you know, we're going to be getting Bob up on the show pretty soon. So shout out to him and the great work that he continues to do. Him and brother Kyle T. Mosley at the Saints News Network. Feel free to share the articles too, fam. That's how we do it. That's how we rock it. Feel free to share his articles. All right, so that's the call on there, man. So Let's get a few questions, family. Let me squeeze in a few questions. We had 43 minutes. I'm going to be disciplined and get out of here at an hour. But you guys throw in there quickly any questions if you have any questions about the team or who you think makes the team. What do you think about Bob's predictions? What do you think about Bob's Rhodes predictions about what he sees there? Do you guys think that was a pretty good call on the predictions? Do you agree with his predictions, his roster predictions? Do you guys agree on that? All right. So anyway, shout out to the fam. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all for being in the building. Ride 66 Comedy says we need a tight end. You could very well get a tight end, bro. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. Like, okay, Troutman is a guy, right? A lot of people don't have confidence in Troutman, and I think that's why people are looking. Hey, bro, Mike Gesicki is a guy that we might be able to get our hands on, stuff like that. And I don't know. I think the Saints want to see what Adam Troutman does, and of course they're really big on Juwan Johnson. Last year, that unit didn't show us much, but could that change this year with Troutman and Taysom Hill in the unit and out in that unit, Juwan Johnson? If you think about it, they're actually Juwan Johnson should have a really good year. I think what part of his year was messed up last year because of the fact that Coach Payton kept taking him and deactivating him. Like many of the games last year that Juwan Johnson wasn't hurt when he came back, he was healthy scratch games. I've showed that a couple of times on here when you'll see healthy or inactive. And I'm like, why is Juwan Johnson a healthy inactive? I remember one of the reporters asked a good question, and Coach Payton said, yeah, we just needed somebody to play special team. I'm like, man, you need that goddamn guy in the red zone to catch touchdowns. That's what he does. He blocks and he does catch the touchdown. So a lot of that, we didn't handle that right. I mean, Juwan Johnson, if he was healthy, he should have been out there every damn game because we needed help, especially with our wide receivers being young and what was going on. So I didn't get that. I really didn't get that. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. All right. So shout out to the fam. Good to see y'all up in the building there. Tano, what's up, fam? Said, do you see Kirk Merritt taking the punt and kick return role as soon as? No, I think that'll be Deontay Harty. I think Deontay is the number one returner, no doubt about it, bro. I think Kirk Merritt will be used in different ways, and he could spell Deontay Harris Harty, but I think that role is Deontay's. When the Saints wanted to use him more and they had visions of him recreating him and turning him into like a Tyreek Hill type, I think a lot of that done went away when the Saints got a real, I ain't gonna say a real wide receiver, but they got a star type caliber wide receiver that stretches the field, that has the size, and Chris Olave. When Chris Olave arrived, the pair with Michael Thomas, that thinking about him trying to turn him into the Tyreek Hill, that took a back seat real quick, and Deontay went right back to his kick return and punt return role. So, I think Merritt operate like as a backup or a guy that will spell him. So I think that's still Deontay's role. Thank you, Tano. Shout out, bro. All right. All right. Shout out to the fam. Let me see what else questions. What's up, Ramsey? Shout out to you, man. Good to see you in the chat. All right. What else we got here? Coach Tab says Troutman got a concussion against Green Bay. Wants so bad for him to do well, but can he stay healthy? Great question, Coach Tab. And that is, I wish I had a crystal ball I can look in and tell you and give you the answer to that question right after I gave you the lottery numbers for next week. But there's no way. That's the only way you can see that is that you can pray for Troutman and hopefully that he'll have a solid and he can stay healthy to help you. But the Saints know that they will have to have some depth behind him, you know what I mean? And Taysom Hill, not only just Taysom, but also Juwan Johnson. And the word is still out on Nick Vannett. Now, we know the Saints don't want to release Nick Vannett because they'll get a major cap hit of over $3.3 million, which that to me is crazy. Like if they just outright release him, they get $1 million in cap relief, but a dead cap hit of 3.3, a cap hit of $3.3 million. My goodness. So the only thing they're looking at is they could probably try to move Nick Vannett and kind of free the money up that way. So if they can trade him out like that, they'll see that $3 million come back to him, which would be a boost, which I don't understand. Why is that even like that? But Nick Vannett was a guy a lot of people thought would help. I thought he would help, but he's not that guy, man. He's not. I don't know why we gave that guy a 3-year contract. Soon as Denver put him down and he didn't do nothing to earn. That was Peyton. going after all these Ohio State guys, you know, and he's not a star. He's not like a Chris Olave or Mike Thomas or Von Bell or any of those type of Ohio. Like, those are the stars up there. Lattimore, he ain't no, that guy ain't that. That guy was back there sweeping the floor while them guys was out there on the field performing and doing their thing. He was out there washing their jerseys for him. That guy don't belong. He should have got a 3-year contract. I totally disagree with that. He should have got a 1-year deal, and if you like him like that, you should have gave him a 2-year deal with a team option. You know, that shouldn't have been a 3-year deal given to Nick Vannett, man. Who the hell is he? You know, so, but that's my caller. But yeah, the tight end room, there's concerns there because of the frequency. What he's talking about, you know, with Troutman, you mentioned his concussion. Taysom Hill got banged up as well. He's in that tight end room, and that leaves Juwan Johnson. Do the Saints go with Lucas Krull? You know, do the Saints say, we like Lucas, let's give him an opportunity? And what that do is it gives you a bunch of young tight ends that's in there with no real NFL experience, and you be like, damn, they all young, but at the same time, it's either boom or bust in that room. You see what I'm saying? It's either boom or bust in that room. That's what it come down to. So we just have to see. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Lewis. Shout out to Lewis for hitting that subscribe button. Shout out to Lewis Tyner for hitting that subscribe button. And shout out to the rest of the new family members that popped in there. NASCO, Derek J. Williams 007. Shout out to you, Chad B, John David Washington, and the rest of the fam. Shout out and thank you once again, Lewis, for hitting that subscribe button. Much love, fam. All right. Okay, King Gucci, what's up, brother? Says, I got a question. Who will have a breakout year, Davenport or Peyton Turner? That's a great question, man. I would want both of them to have a breakout year, but being that Davenport is probably he's a starter there, and Peyton Turner's the third, the situational pass rusher. You'll see Peyton Turner in times when they spell Davenport, or in the NASCAR package, you'll see Peyton Turner and Davenport on the field at the same time. So I would have to say I would have to give it to Davenport. Well, then again, I should give it to Peyton Turner because Davenport has an ugly injury history that he don't give you no full years. But remember last year, if we was concentrating on Cam so hard when he broke out and had that stellar year, remember Davenport had 9 sacks that year, last year. He had 9 sacks. Can he get double-digit sacks this year if he stays healthy? That's a big if for Marcus Davenport because he hadn't showed it to us. And Peyton Turner, in his limited action, he got banged up. But, you know, who will have a breakout? Yeah, I would have to put the pressure on Davenport, being that this is his last year, his contract year. He has the ball. He has to break out. And perhaps, and I know this is a long shot, but perhaps Davenport can have one of those years like Trey Hendrickson had when Trey Hendrickson balled out and got the big contract from the Bengals the next year. And then in his first year with the Bengals proved that he was serious. I didn't know he had that many sacks last year. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, he showed every bit of it that he was good. Like, damn, the Saints should have kept Trey Hendrickson. But who would have kept Trey Hendrickson over Marcus Davenport? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, they got Trey Hendrickson there, so power to them. But Davenport, could he have a similar year like Trey Hendrickson have? This is his last year. He has the ball, right? This is his year. He got a ball out to get the big dough, man. And hopefully he can stay healthy, man. So I'm going to have to pick Davenport. Thank you, King Gucci. Shout out, fam. Ramsey said, hey, Q, I'm going to keep putting the plug in for defensive tackle Malcolm Brown until we sign him. He's still available. Yeah, I was checking for him the other day, bro, looking at what he was doing. And this could still be something the Saints could look at doing. He's out there. He wouldn't cost a lot of money to bring in. So do the Saints have that imagination to pick him up? You know, he won't cost a lot of money. He has a familiarity with the system. So it makes perfect sense to me. We'll see if they share that thought with you. All right. Pammy agrees with me. Davenport's contract. Yeah, see that's smart people. All right. King Gucci says, TJ says we should trade for Gesicki. What you think, Q? I don't think, well, shout out to my brother TJ, my little brother TJ, man. I love that brother. I think with Gesicki, man, I just think his contract, what he makes almost, what is it, 9.3 million on that tag. His tag is like over 9 million. And the Saints have roughly, 8.3 or 8.2 or whatever it is million. And it depends on which side you fall on with Adam Troutman. You know, do you think Troutman has the potential to have a big year? Remember, a lot of our wide receiver, running back wide receivers, and how we use them, the multiplicity of the guys, some of the guys we have in our system will kind of mask our tight end stuff for a minute. And really to play tight end and that much talent, like all the wide receivers we have, should be pretty easy for a guy like Troutman. So it's either feast or famine in that regard, you know what I'm saying, King Gucci? Because the reality is Troutman he can catch fire for you and get 45, 50 catches for you today. I mean, this upcoming year, because most of the time he probably ain't going to be covered because they're going to be too busy covering everybody else. Defensive coordinators know they can't cover everybody. They can't. Like we got to double down on King Guard Mike, or what about Chris Olave? We got to slide protection his way because he taking the top off. Jarvis Landry running around in the slot. Oh my goodness, what did we do? Alvin Kamara out the backfield. Deontay Hardy, Taysom Hill with the mismatches. So Troutman should, even though people are looking at the tight ends, the rest of the talent that we have in other groups probably will mask some of the ineffectiveness of our tight ends. But it's a feast of famine group. It's like if you like Juwan Johnson, you think he has potential. Troutman, you think he has the potential to finally step up, then that'll be one thing. So I just think the Saints are betting on Adam Troutman to see what he's going to do. They're not going to turn him loose yet. They want to see if he is a guy that can start or if he's just another Josh Hill. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the question. Like coming into your third year, are you a starting tight end? Because people compared him to Kittle. You know, George Kittle's the tight end from the 49ers when he was coming out. They were calling him this and saying that he will have a similar development as George Kittle. Or is he George Kittle or is he Josh Hill? You see what I'm saying? That has to be determined. I think that'll be determined this year, whether he can be that type of guy, whether he's a starting level tight end or he's just a Josh Hill type of guy, a backup that just couldn't handle the lights. Because remember, back in the day when we had Ben Watson here, Ben Watson was doing this thing, they had Josh Hill behind him, and Peyton was trying to groom Josh Hill as the eventual tight end that replaces Ben Watson. And when Ben Watson left, the Saints put Josh Hill in that role, and Josh Hill couldn't handle it. So is Troutman Josh Hill, or is he potentially a George Kittle type? This year we'll find out. So I don't know about the Gesicki thing because I don't like his contract. He got a tag over $9 million. The Saints have roughly 8-something million, so they'll make some cuts and might free up some money. But, you know, I don't know about the Gesicki thing. It does sound good, but I don't think that's the Saints' mindset. I think the Saints want to see what they have in Troutman. That's what I think they want to see. Thank you for the question, bro. Shout out. All right. What's up, Charles? Shout out to you, fam. Good to see you. Thank you, Chris. Much love, bro. All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. I'm an LSU guy too, bro. All right. Okay. Any other questions, fam, that y'all have? I got a few more. All right. Damon says, Big Q, damn, I didn't get the invite. Okay. All right. I don't know what's up with that, bro. That might be on the platform for that. That's YouTube, bro. What's up, SB? Shout out to you, man. Bolts up, man. Oh, come on, bro. You can't be a Chicago Bull guy and then turn around and be a Los Angeles Charger guy. You just be trolling at that point, SB. Shout out to you, my dog. Much love to my brother. All right. So anyway, any more questions here, fam? I might have missed a few of them here. Let me see. Let me make sure I got it. All right. Riot 66 comment says Pennon is composed Aaron Donald acting like a rookie. Okay. All right. We'll love to see that matchup, though. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. All right. Tano says, can y'all see us winning more than 13 games? Be honest. Y'all can see us winning more. If the Saints are focused, bro, if the Saints are focused and doing a game-to-game approach and not looking over other people's shoulders, like in essence, the Saints are talented. They should be able to handle the business and beat a team like the Carolina Panthers. Now I'm not because I know Big Low and my brothers Dave and Rashard at the PNP camp over there, Panthers Nation podcast. They be checking in to be listening to what I be saying. So I don't want to make them feel like their teams don't have a shot. That's not what I'm saying at all. Thank you, King Gucci. He says, who that Nation, Winston, and Mike T revenge season. That's right. Thank you, brothers. Thank you for the super chat. But I just want to say, insofar as that, it's like, man, when you dealing with the Saints, you look at the Saints roster from top to bottom, and I'm not disparaging anybody else's roster or, whatnot, but I'm just saying I'm looking at the Saints roster and I'm looking at everybody else's roster and I'm saying, listen, with everything that's going on and the fact that the conditions are right for the Saints to be the top team again and shoot right to it. Number one, the national media doesn't believe in you, and they're giving you all the building board material, the board material for you to become an underdog. So you're already an underdog in their eyes. So if you go against Tampa Bay, more than likely the line is going to set you as the underdog against Tampa Bay, even though you have a better roster. You say, well, how do you determine you got a better roster? You look at the Saints roster from top to bottom. That roster is obviously a top 5 roster. I mean, they'll take people. These national people will take Green Bay and put them up as one of the top 5 best teams in the NFL. And you don't even know who their receivers are. You don't know what these receivers are. I like Lazard, but I don't know if Lazard is going to be all they. How about Romeo? I like Romeo a lot. I thought I wanted us to draft Romeo. But you don't know yet from those guys. And you say, well, Q, you can say the same about us because they haven't gotten out there. But listen, if you take their wide receivers and you pin them up against our wide receivers and Mike Thomas and Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry, you tell me. But the reason why they disrespect the Saints is because Jameis Winston, because they don't think Jameis Winston has the ability to lead a team into a deep playoff run. That's what it comes down to, which they're sadly mistaken. And in their minds, they're thinking he has to play like an all-star quarterback for them to have a chance. No, all he has to do is stay within himself and do exactly what he did last year, which is 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and build on that. To be able to have 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Jameis Winston 7 games into the season mean that he had some type of comprehension of what the Saints are willing to do. So he was disciplined with his ball distribution and throwing the ball out and doing the right things. He had 14 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's a big, gap there. It's a big gap, and that would have only grew. He would have gotten up to 20 something, probably 20-5 at one point. You see what I'm saying? Had he not gotten hurt and then further up to north of 30 and over 45 to 5,000 yards last year, had he not been hurt. So I think no doubt about it, the Saints can win. They can win 14, 15 games. It's all on them. It's all on them staying healthy. It's all on them taking a week by week approach and not looking over anybody. I don't care who they are, not looking over. And like I've said before, the team has a propensity to do these things where we just overlook teams. Like we destroyed Green Bay. Then we drank the Kool-Aid and went in a week 2 against Carolina and got shellacked. We didn't get shellacked, but we had a terrible outing. There was no energy there. And I know we was dealing with injuries. We lost McCoy, had Cesar Ruiz at center. But regardless or not, you still had enough talent to be able to beat that team. So you can't play down to their level. You have to play consistent Saints football. That's what it comes down to. If they can do that, yeah, they can get 15 games. No doubt about it. This is a serious team here. I'm telling them. All right. Thank you, bro. All right. Brian Pearson says the Buccaneers don't want Gronkowski. Why don't we give Gronkowski a 2-year contract to play for the Saints? Gronkowski is not going. I don't think Gronkowski is going to play for the Saints, and I think the Saints ain't going to want to give Gronkowski that money. And if Gronkowski does change his mind to come back to play, more than likely it's going to be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and his beloved Tom Brady. So I mean, I don't think that's a factor, Brian. I think that will never happen. All right, St. Marcus says Aaron Donald might not get suspended or fined for hitting players with a helmet, but if a Saints player done that, you already know. All right, shout out, fam. All right, let me keep it going here. St. Marcus says we don't know if Malcolm Brown is the same player or not. There must be a reason why a good player like him was already released. Well, that might be a point there, bro, but you're not looking on, no problem, King Gucci, shout out to you, bro. We're not looking for Malcolm Brown to be, a starter at this point. We already got, like, if you bring Malcolm Brown in here, Malcolm Brown is he's like a nose tackle. Most of the Saints defensive interior linemen, these guys are like defensive tackles. They're balanced defensive tackles. These guys are not traditional nose tackles, and he was a nose tackle that will swallow up 2 defenders and allow guys to create, have one-on-one matchups, which then the job would be, if you're a high-level defensive end, like a Cam Jordan, and if you can block And Cam beats double teams all the time. So if you're Davenport, your job would to be just like what Trey Hendrickson's job was that year, was to beat defenders one-on-one, which if you're NFL level defensive end, you should be able to consistently beat your player in one-on-one matchups if you're a starting level defensive end. So at some point, whether that's Davenport or if Peyton Turner comes in there, or Cam gets an opportunity to stunt into a one-on-one matchup, or Kentavious Street is there, David Onyemata requires double teaming. So at some point, somebody's going to get a single block and they'll be forced to come up with something big. And I think that's why Kentavious Street is here, because he is a guy that you have to be able to block double team too. So some kind of way the numbers are thin out for you, where some guys, the Saints are going to get pressure on the quarterback with the 4. Remember, that's when you have the most massive success. If your 4 defensive linemen can create pressure against their 5 offensive linemen, which allows our linebackers to drop into coverage and seal up lanes and make it difficult for quarterbacks to throw at your defense. So the Saints did that really well last year when they were able to provide that pressure. If you're not getting pressure with the front 4, you're going to have issues. So I think the Saints are blessed. They have all that, and they can move guys around, stun them. You know, if you don't get pressure, move guys around. And that Dennis Allen and Ryan Nielsen's been doing that, and they've been seeing the reward. So I don't think Brown comes in as a starter. He'll be a key role player that you can bring in to spell guys, you know. But I don't know if the Saints feel like they might need him the way some of these other guys are playing. So, but it would be intriguing to me. I would make a move on it, man. But, you know, then again, the question would be, well, who do you pull out to put him in that role? So, you know, that would be the next question. Tragedy, I think we'll wait till see if Brown right before the season, so his contract be week to week in case he gets injured. All right. Thank you, Tragedy. Shout out to you, bro. All right. Shout out. All right. Thank you, Charles. Shout out, bro. All right. Who else we got? We're going to keep it a little bit. We got a little bit longer here. Let me go ahead and run on down. All right. Yeah. Okay. Big ups, Devin. He says, are y'all doing the NFC roundtable before the season? Yeah. Matter of fact, there was a message I got to answer to, man. I was busy today. It should be, I'm thinking we might be getting together on sometimes next week. So it's going to be an NFC South table prior to the season, you know, which is a good thing to do with the NFC Super Friends, PNP, Big Game James, and my brother Big Low. We'll be doing one. I think it's next week for some time. So y'all just be looking out for that. It might be on the 6th or something like that, I'm hearing. So, you know, y'all just keep an eye out for that. All right. All right. So, yeah, just to let you know. All right. Yeah, no for him. What's up, bro? Says when Jameis played hero ball, he had 2. It all was dependent on him. Yeah, that risk it or biscuit stuff, the hero ball, he had to make the plays. They had really nothing else, no running attack going for him. And it just was what it was in Jameis Winston when he was running in that Bruce Arians offense. It was terrible. But Bruce Arians don't get none of the credit for that. None of the blame, actually. It was Jameis that got all the blame for running that bullshit offense. And you've seen the difference when people, I don't know if they know football or not. I'm not going to insult their intelligence, but maybe I should, because if you should know the difference between what he looked like in in Tampa Bay versus what he looks like in the Saints building. Obviously, he has a better understanding of how to play the quarterback role more efficiently in the Saints building. You know, 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions that year was high, you know, but James, like I said, a lot of James just, he don't go after him. The media people for, you know, y'all need to cut this out. Y'all don't go after Peyton, you know, Peyton Manning like that when he had 28 interceptions in a year. Why y'all doing it from, you know, he don't go after them like that. He just cool. He just throw, you know, whatever. But that's how they attack him, you know, and I don't think he ever changes. But my advice would be Jameis to fire back at him. Get them people off. You don't let them sit here and talk shit about you and all this kind of stuff like that. I'll be setting them straight. Get the record straight, because they know what time it is. And a lot of these people doing this because they doing it for views. A lot of them doing it because they being disagreeable toward Jameis. They don't like Jameis Winston and they got an axe to grind against him. And so them type of people that got stuff like that, that's what I pinpoint their bias and I go after them. I say, see, you're not commentating from a position of trying to figure it out. You have an axe to grind. You got a personal vendetta. You got an emotional tie to this thing, which is obscuring your view to see he has the ability, that he's changed in the system, and that he's not even the same quarterback that he was in Tampa. Not even close. Man went through a whole situation. Every 3 years older, maturer, and everything else that you could pass up. I was looking at, matter of fact, videos today when Jameis was poking Marshawn Lattimore in the back of the helmet. That was in 2017. And started that fight, that ruckus on the side of the line with Mike Evans running over, spearing Laddie Daddy from behind, you know? And I was like, from that point to now, you can see it's an obvious difference in the person's game. And I hope these people that's hating on Jameis, these reporters, understand. I hope that that you understand that people do change, you know? So obviously they must don't believe in that sort of thing. What's up, Black Preacher Man Sports Fan Khalib? Thank you, bro, for the super chat. It says, Q, did you hear Stephen A. Smith's remarks on ESPN this morning? He picked Saints as a top NFC team. He just doesn't have them beating Tampa Bay. How are they a top NFC team, Black Preacher Man Sports Fan Khalib, but they're not beating Tampa Bay? You beat Tampa Bay. You could have beat Tampa Bay 5 of the 5 matchups, and he'll still say that because he has an obvious bias for Tom Brady. And the obvious bias is so stupid and glaring and so blind that it's preventing him from seeing the logic that the Saints have the key to beating Tom Brady. And then, of course, one of the biggest problems, even if I'm not even a Tampa Bay guy, and I had an opportunity to look at them people team, and I looked at the offensive line, and I said, you know what? Because, you could put yourself and I'm going to answer this one and I'm going to bounce out, is you can put yourself in their position, in their shoes. What I mean by that is we had a 39-year-old quarterback, a 38, 39-year-old ass quarterback who couldn't move. Y'all remember what happened when we traded out Cesar Ruiz for, I forgot the man name, man. The offensive lineman we had here who had back-to-back Pro Bowls. That y'all put his name in the chat. I always forget his name. But we moved him on out of here after we lost to the Minnesota game like he was the problem. Sean Payton picked him, got him out, bring everybody in, drafted Cesar Ruiz, and then told you he was going to play center and then turned him into a guard when he could have took a guard, whatever. But when Cesar Ruiz is in here in his rookie year, what happened? Well, I say this will be a bad look because if that rookie gets beat, Drew Brees won't be able to get out of the way. And that guy played guard inside. And if you got a quarterback, an old quarterback like we had, the problem is he can't get out of harm's way. An old there you go. Thank you, family. Larry Warford. I'm going to have to remember that. I always forget Larry Warford. I always say, you know what, fam, what's his name? I always forget Larry Warford, man. I don't know what it is. I guess in my mind, he got a forgettable name, even though he had a not forgettable game. But Larry Warford was a guy. Thank y'all, man. Derek, Dave, Slim, Trey, Clint, KB. Thank y'all for that. Scoob, shout out, bro. Yeah. The Ruiz. Now remember what happened to Drew Brees when they put Ruiz, the young player, in there in the center in that right guard position. He got beat like a drum by Contavious Street, ran over him like he was a streetcar. Ran over Drew Brees, cracked him up something fierce, broke him on all up. It was a sad day. And if you go back and watch the footage, he was beat so bad, Ruiz couldn't even grab and hold him to stop him from getting to Drew. It was like a jailbreak. And he ran over Drew and squashed him flat as a bug. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a problem. So I'm like, listen, y'all don't understand. You thinking, and these idiot commentators and these national people are so stupid in their bias that they think Tom Brady could do anything. Tom Brady can turn water into wine. That he's all powerful, all knowing. Man, stop it with that. You're gonna get him hurt. Stop blowing him up like that. You're only good as the sum of your whole parts. He's not blocking for himself. He's not. Stop with the madness. He could do it. It's Tom Patrick Edward Brady. He could do it. Stop with this madness, you balding, ugly, stupid ass bastard. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to get the man hurt. Because one thing I know about old ass quarterbacks is that they can't get out of the way. And you got the Saints defensive line going up against an interior defensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That most of them guys are not there. The starting center is hurt for the year. The guards are new, and you got the tackles that are same, but the interior of the line is new, and they haven't had real time to learn each other. you're going to get the man hurt. Stop with all this Tom Brady's the ultimate, he's the ultimate equalizer talk. No, that's wrong. You're only as good as the sum of all your parts. If you're a quarterback, a Hall of Famer, and you're as good as what you are, if you got good wide receivers around, when you throw the ball, they'll catch it. If you got offensive linemen that are really good, they'll block for you so you don't get tore up. If you got offensive linemen that are really good, they'll block for you so you can have a balanced attack where you can run the ball and then throw the ball where people won't one dimensionalize you. You see what I'm saying? And make it more difficult. So you're only, you're the sum of all your parts. You can't be sitting up here saying Tom Brady doesn't need an offensive line to have success. He's still going to win the NFC South. How is he going to do that? He can't block for himself. And this the type of childlike, stupid, dirty, dumb mindset that's ridiculous. How old are these guys? Are they kindergartners? I wouldn't even call them kindergartners, because kindergartners have more sense than to sit up here and make this guy into a Superman comic book character. Tom Brady is a 45-year-old quarterback in a league of young people. And his time is running out. And a lot of smart people know he got away with it that first year when he went to Tampa Bay. That second year when he was getting tore up last year, this year here, man, he going to have a hard year this year. I'm telling y'all. He going to have a hard year this year because we coming for him and everybody else coming for him. You've got to have an offensive line. If you got an old quarterback that can't block, that can't move around, he can only slide and move. And listen, was really deadly the time for all you Tampa Bay people out there. Let me tell you something, how the Saints, a portion of, I ain't gonna give you all of the game, but I'm gonna give you a key. How the Saints cause disruption for Tom Brady is up in the center of that line. If you can't hold pressure in the center of the offensive line, and pressure's coming from the interior, not from the edges where he can step up into a throw, but if the pressure's coming right in Tom Brady's face, right up the center, there's no way for him to go when the pressure, and that's how the Saints do. They get pressure up the center of the offensive line. And guess what? Jensen's not there. And not only that, let me give you another key for all these people that's believing Tom Brady is going to be able to do all this old stuff. Number one, he missed all that time for training camp, right? Almost 2 weeks that he missed the training camp. All that time when he was doing whatever was going on. He missed all that time. Well, when he did that, when Jensen was out, who's the new center? Right? And guess what? There's such a thing, and I said this in TSC Q&A Live, there's such a thing as a quarterback center exchange that you have to work on. So if you snapping the ball between the center and the quarterback and they ain't not on the same page, that's problematic, because turnovers could happen right there. They could. Communication issues could happen there. While the guy is waiting to snap the ball and Tom Brady's in the shotgun and he all of a sudden starts audibling to plays and the guy snaps the ball, it could be problematic. So he missed all that time, and then they said, oh, it's no problem. You got a new center there because Jansen's not there no more, that he has to work on that quarterback center exchange, which is very big. Remember, we had that problem too when we went from Max Unger and we went to our next center, which was McCoy. Y'all remember that? They had to get it together. So they just emit all of the common traditional football stuff that you have to do to get good. Like, soon as he step out there, it's going to be all good. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'm not wishing nothing on the Tampa Bay people, but I'm saying you got these foamers, man. You got these idiot football people that's talking about Tom Brady in this manner like he's some type of superhero. And I like Tom Brady. I really do. I appreciate what Tom Brady's done in the NFL besides the cheating. But listen, I like Tom Brady. I think he's a winner. But the reality is there is a fine line, like with Father Time. Father Time catches up with us all. They caught up with Drew Brees, and this year is going to catch up with Tom Patrick, Edward Brady, whatever his name is, and the personage of the New Orleans Saints defense. I'm telling you, man, these people are crazy, man, coming with all this talk. These people obviously have not played football before. They don't understand that everything that you do out there requires work. You don't just get out on the football field and start running routes. You got to get used to the field that you're running on, the shoes that you're using, whether or not they're right. You got to create, it's just work, man. It's work. You got to get yourself in the mindset, your body right. You got to bond with the people next to you, the synergy, gain the synergy with your teammates to understand what their tendencies are. All of that requires work. And you think you're going to just throw Tom Brady in there and he going to figure it out. Man, it don't work like that. You got to work and work together to build a bond. And these people sitting up here talking this crap, they don't know what the hell they talking about, man. I'm telling y'all, they're going to get that freaking guy hurt. But yes, indeed, New Orleans, and you talk about, they're a top team in the NFC, but I don't see them beating Tampa Bay. What you mean? You don't see them because you don't have no imagination because of the comic book style bias you have for Tom Brady because he's your Lord and Savior. That dude don't have a cross of Christ. That dude have Tom Brady on his he wears a Tom Brady thing around his neck, and he wakes up just like Skip Skeletor Bayless. They got a Tom Brady statue that sits on the side of their bed that they wake up and they rub the top of the thing's head for his luck, and they do this and said peace out to TB12 before they go out, and that's how they say they These clowns are from the International Church of Tom Brady Worship. I mean, it's crazy. They're like, dude, how freaking old are you, dude? How old are you? How old? I'm pretty sure you might be older than Tom Brady. Sitting up here foaming at the mouth over time. Foaming at the mouth over Tom Brady. But I mean, man, listen, we're going to teach you some sports. I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling you, the wrong thing you can ever do is to play a team down like they playing us. The wrong thing you can do is talk crap to us about Tampa Bay. Like, I don't see them beating Tampa Bay when the Saints hammered Tampa Bay 4 of the 5 matchups just with Tom Brady. You won't talk about going back prior to Tom Brady. It was a mash fest. It was a destruction fest prior to that. That's why the people were so hot and heated about you and mad about you saying F the Saints everywhere. Why? Because we was destroying the people before Tom Brady and the NFL came along with that weirdness. Remember, and I'm going to just say this and leave it alone. In that first year Tom Brady got there, remember the Saints had beat everybody, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers included, and we had one team left to beat in the NFC South, and it was the Carolina Panthers, and them people was been eliminated. They were eliminated 2 weeks prior to that, been eliminated weeks ago, and the Saints still needing to beat the Carolina Panthers to wrap up the division. And I'm sitting up here asking myself, why do the Saints have to beat the Carolina Panthers, who were eliminated from playoff contention, have a losing record? We already, we got to beat them for the claim a playoff spot. Y'all remember that? I said, man, them people do whatever they do and bend whatever rules they can for Tom Brady. We already know this. There's been too many examples of it, but there's only so much they can help you with on that field. There's only so much them zebras and these shady NFL people at the top can help you with on that field. And this year, that dude coming down like a ton of bricks. I'm going to be honest with you. He going down. All right, so anyway, with that being said, man, I'm about to dirk out on that, man. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. These people, you can run all through their facts and telling them it's all, listen, bro, what justification do you have to keep picking this guy? It's this stupid, dumb comic book mentality of who this man is. Man is 45 years old. He cannot move back there, and his interior offensive line is young people, and they're not the same people that he had last year. He hadn't worked with them that much to build a camaraderie, and you still jeffing for him now hard? No, bro. At some point, you got to do the knowledge. You got to you got to look at things as they are, and say, hey, man, listen, I'm gonna keep riding with Tom till I can't. No, dude. Now I see what time it is. Because like I said, we had an old ass quarterback before who could not get out of harm's way. And the worst pressure that came was right up the middle, especially in that Minnesota Vikings playoff loss. Y'all remember? They was getting pressure up the center on Drew Brees. He had nowhere to go. He couldn't run. He couldn't get out of harm's way. Y'all remember that? All right. Okay. All right. I've told you what I told you. I told you what I told you. I told you what I told you. And watch what happened. Because they keep doing this. They piss the Saints off. The Saints got a chip on their shoulder. They disrespecting their quarterback. They're not going nowhere. They're a dark horse team. They're a sneaky team and all this kind of stuff. And I keep saying, how could you be a sneaky team with Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Elvin Kamara, Jarvis Landry, Ryan Ramczyk, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu? Will Lutz. How could you be a dark horse team with all them people, man? Ain't no such thing, man. That don't even make any sense. It don't make any sense. But any way to stop you from being a contender. Only one way to prove them wrong. Only one way to prove them wrong, and that's to knock their ass off. And mission number one starts week number 1 in a little bit. So anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, family. And I appreciate y'all for chiming in. I'll be back tomorrow for the final preseason matchup. We'll be doing the watch party. Tomorrow we'll be in the building. Y'all are more than welcome to join me. You can turn that crap, whatever they'll be, and let the sports come on. We'll be up in this thing, man, with the final preseason matchup, man. We'll start it off at 7, and we'll be with it for the summation of the time. You can drink your beer, eat your wings, or if you're a vegan, if you got your salad going, whatever, you can bring it over here with the Coma. We'll be in full effect. So with that being said, fam, I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. I love y'all. Y'all keep your heads up, and I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Who that to you?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Daily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform